Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Wine Time with Peggy show, featuring Peggy Fiandaca, who along with her winemaker husband Kurt Lawrence Dunham, owns and operates LVD Winery in Arizona. Spring, everybody. We're excited to talk about wine and spring. I mean, I think the two go hand in hand, but then again, I would say wine day is every day. It's Wine Wednesday, which means it's time to chat with Peggy Fiandaca. It is Wine Time with Peggy. Welcome back, Peggy. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm great. I'm happy that it's springtime. I love this time of year.
I think it's my favorite. In all honesty, I think this is my favorite time of year because I'm not good with cold, but there's this thing about renewal. It's exciting to see the new growth come in, everywhere, green grass and wildflowers, depending on where you are. How is the vineyard? That's my first thing is what does it look like now? Is there green or little baby that new green color? I get giddy about it. I get a little weird.
Right. I do too. I mean, it's the exciting part of the beginning of the growing season when right now we have sap flowing. Tell you a little story. Our worker was out in the vineyard doing the last pruning, and he came to Kurt and he goes, the vines, they're crying. And Kurt goes, crying? What? And he went out there and it was the beginning of the sap flowing. So we had to explain to him what that was and that they were coming to life and beginning to weep.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
we cracked up. The vines were crying a little
Oh,
bit.
that's sweet though, isn't it? That's like a
Yeah.
sweet sentiment when you think about, it's like, oh yes, they're crying with joy that winter's over. I'm alive, I'm
Yeah,
alive. Let's
that's
go.
exactly right.
Oh,
So the
oh,
vineyard is starting to come alive, and actually we're beginning to get bud break, which the little leaves are starting to pop out, and it's the beginning of the growing season. So once you have bud break, we're about 4 months to harvest of at least the white Viognier, and then 5 months to begin harvesting our red. So now's the time that we have to watch out for a late frost. And
mm,
hopefully the weather continues to stay warm because this is a little bit early for us to have bud break.
mm.
And so we just have to keep our fingers crossed and hope Mother Nature is nice to us for the next little
I
bit
feel
while
like
our
you need to have like tubs and tubs and tubs of blankets to cover the babies.
I know it's kind of scary, and as you know, we're going to be planting here
That's right.
in April. So we're excited about getting our 1,200 vines coming. So all the
Wow.
holes are ready for them, and we're excited about planting this month.
How do they come? Because I have a friend the other day, and I got the giggles. She ordered a bunch of roses and thinking, I don't know what she thought. And they came in their bare root bags. And she's like, I just got a bunch of sticks. And she actually called the company and said, you sent me sticks. Like, and I'm, and anyway, it's a learning curve. And so she's learning. And so I'm like,
Right,
no, no, that's how they come. This is like the bare root season. That's the best way to plant them,
right,
not middle of the season while they've got flowers. That's not exactly,
right.
you can, but it's the same thing when you buy trees a lot of times. They're little
Correct.
sticks. So is that what it's like for you guys? Is there growth or do you get the little bare root sticks?
We get the little sticks. So when they come over from our nursery in California, and we actually take those sticks basically, and we put them in B12 for a couple of days,
Oh,
which is a root stimulator. And we also, I talked about previously, we dug all the 1,200 holes for those vines. And so we've been right before we begin to plant, we pre-irrigate those holes so that they're very the soil is very wet, and then we plant them just those little sticks in the ground.
wow. But
And
you gave him a B12 shot but it's not like
Yep.
what we have to get as humans. We don't want those B12 shots. Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this is really cool that you're doing that. So it kind of leads me to the word of the day,
The word of the
grafting. Is
day.
that kind of connected, right?
Absolutely. And it's connected to your friend who just got her roses, her bare root roses. So same as with any kind of bare root plant, particularly compared from grapevines and roses. You choose the rootstock specifically for your location. So us in Southern Arizona, we have a certain rootstock that is perfect for our area. Same with our rose garden. When we buy bare root roses, it's specifically for our area in southeastern Arizona. And what you do is you graft the producer vine or to that rootstock. So in another term is scion, which is another name for the producer vine. And the producer vine is a Syrah or Grenache or Cabernet Sauvignon. And that scion gets grafted to the rootstock. And basically what we do is make a cut in the rootstock, and you put the scion or the producer vine into it, tie it up, make it strong. And then, and when that heals, that where that cut was made, when it heals, which for a grapevine, it's about a year before that
Oh, wow.
actually is sealed and strong, and that becomes a viable vine. And that's what's been happening with all of the grapevines that we're getting this month, is they've been in California in the nursery becoming a viable grapevine before they ship it here. And so then when we put that little stick, I mean, it's basically about that big. We put that stick in the ground and we put a grow tube over it. And it's about a 30-inch grow tube that then protects it from little animals and the wind.
Oh, so that's what you see, those little white tubes when you drive through
Correct.
vineyards. You're always going like little babies. Are they little tree babies? I think they do them with trees too.
Yeah, I think they do too. So it's what we call a grow tube, and we keep that on for about a year on that
Oh,
little vine, protecting it from animals and protecting it from the wind for in our area, so to allow it get established and start growing, and then it'll start growing out of that grow tube even the first year.
So
Yeah.
what's interesting about this for folks to really again understand the life of winemaking, of the winemakers, is like the amount of patience, which that's why we all have to have wine.
Yeah.
It makes the world go around. Hey, listen, April is National Stress Awareness Month. So I'm just saying,
Aha.
drink some wine at the end of the day,
Right.
and
And
according to
and
what
it's
your doctor says you're allowed to do.
And in
I
April,
don't
it's a
drink
very
wine.
stressful month for growers, because it's so, we can have a crop destroyed by a late frost. So it's a
Wow.
stressful
So
month.
you get these babies that could come right at this time.
Yeah,
You could have a meeting of the worlds that
correct.
you don't want, but for people to understand, like the amount of time it takes now, you can't just make wine with these babies. You have to
No,
actually let them become an adult first, So right now they're going to have
correct.
to go through their preteens, and then this next year they'll become teenagers and then ready to become adults next year for winemaking, or
Probably 2 years before we'll get any,
oh,
yeah, before they're really producing anything. Maybe even 3 years. And the difficult part,
wow.
because what we are doing is we're doing the skips in a row. We're replanting where vines have died over time. So the difficulty, these guys are going to have a hard time getting established because they're going to be next to very mature vines. And of course, the mature vines have a lot of canopy development to them. And so those little vines next to a very big full vine has a hard time getting sun. because they're overshadowed by the canopy. So we have to do some careful pruning to allow that new vine get established and be able to have some success and growth.
But that's kind of like life, isn't it? You have to be amongst your elders, and your elders will take precedent over you while you're young. So they're stealing the spotlight for a little longer than you want when you're young, right?
Yeah, good analogy. Very good analogy.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're going to be here, but they get to grow up in the arms of the elders who will tell them,
correct.
If you want sun, you need to turn your little roots this way, stick your little line out there, turn this way, do that. So I kind of, yeah, I'm weird. If I had a winery, I'd be out there talking to the plants all the time.
Whatever it takes is what our motto. Nothing is off the table. We need to protect those vines.
Yeah, and Earth Day is coming up in April, April 22nd, which I know we're going to talk about. You guys have so many things happening at Scottsdale at the tasting room in Scottsdale. And for new listeners, the winery itself is in Southeast Arizona, about 45 minutes outside of Wilcox, and right outside Chiricahua National Monument and Fort Bowie Fort Bowie is like a National Historical Park. It's really fascinating history. But I mean, this is an area to visit and explore, go wine tasting, go on a hike. I mean, it's just a lot of history, Wild West history. Yeah, I could talk about that for days, but two different things going on. But Earth Day, I just wanted to give a touch of what you guys do as a sustainable winery, because you are a vegan winery. And I think that's a very important thing for folks to know about.
Yes, thank you. Earth Day is our way of celebrating what we do at LVD Winery, because we grow the highest quality grapes, and we only do that by protecting the land that they are planted in. So we do very careful in our soil preservation. We're constantly 4 times a year, we're doing soil analysis to make sure that our soils are rich and have the right nutrients in it. We don't add animal products, manure, onto our vineyard, because you will have residual animal products in the wine, and we don't want that. So we're very organic in how we make sure that our vine is managed, and we don't do any kind of spraying or anything like that might have residual in the wine. And then once we get those beautiful grapes that we grow into the winery, we don't want to mess them up. We have quality grapes, so we're going to we don't have any additives. So our wines are, like you said, vegan. They're gluten-free. There's 0 residual sugar. There no additives. They're just really pure wines. So we do add some sulfites, but we're below the national average. Sulfites are a preservative, but they're great.
And they're fabulous. I do have to ask, how is our friend the Viognier that we got to taste in the different barrels? They're aging in the barrels. When does that come out? When's the birthing of the Viognier?
Well, interesting. Kurt and I had a final testing of
this is the hard part of being winemakers.
Correct. So we sat around and drank different kind of formulas, basically, of Viognier, and it's not quite ready. They weren't playing nice together, and we did not feel it was quite ready yet. So we're going to wait another month and try it again. They were nice. They were fine. But they weren't LDV yet. They weren't showcasing the level of LDV that characteristics that we want.
It's interesting, because I remember, I think it was you, or I think it was Kurt, actually, he said, this is a May. This is going to be May.
Yeah.
And so it's Mother's Day.
I think he's correct. So we're holding off. We're going to try it again here in a couple weeks and see if they're playing nice again.
Well, May, like I said, Mother's Day, it could be a mother and daughter, and they play nice.
Correct.
And sometimes they're like, wait, I'm not ready. Yes, you are. No, I'm not.
Yeah, but
get ready.
as you know, Kurt will not release a wine before it's time. It
Well, you
has to
guys
be.
have the best wines,
Thank,
you know,
thank you, thank you.
you
I
have the best
appreciate that.
wines.
Yeah, we have
You
fun with
know we
it.
love
So,
your wine. And
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think it's that patience and to be able to afford the patience, right? That's
right,
the thing that we're talking about, and the stress that goes with it. And it's like, okay, we've got this, but it's not, you can't push it out when it's not ready. You know,
right.
we don't like that.
We
It's
don't like that either. Yeah, we don't like that either. But so up at Scottsdale, we're introducing this fun new event, which is a mixed media collage making. And I don't know about you, I just loved making collages as a
Mhm.
kid. And then I continue to make collages like, because I'm a very visual person. So I like vision boards and developing when I wanted to make a big decision in my life and didn't
Mhm.
know how to really make it, I did a vision board to help clarify what I was looking for in a new
Mhm.
change in a job or whatever in my life. And so it's similar to that. So we're having an Earth
Cool.
Day mixed media collage making, and I have this great artist, actually the gal that developed our logo and our image for LVD Winery. She's going to lead everyone to develop these beautiful collages using words and images and colors and so on. And everyone can create their Earth Day collage that they can go home and frame, and they're really beautiful. So we're doing that
Oh,
on
that's
Earth
fun.
Day. Yeah.
I love that. So, you know, speaking of your logo, that gives me the opportunity to ask you to tell everybody about the logo, because it is cool and it does represent some amazing attributes for the winery.
Right. So our logo has three intertwined circles on our logo. And the first circle is honoring the ancient peoples that were on our land thousands of years ago and were the first farmers, because we find evidence of that with the matates that we found on our property, which are stone grinders, and they're museum quality. I have 6 of those. And then the second circle is us being as gentle as we are with our growing practices. We're not organic because I've never gone through the process of us of being certified organic, but whereas we could be if I went through the effort and paid the money to do that, but we're not. And the third circle is us turning that beautiful raw product into wine, and everything, the byproducts of that winemaking process go back into the earth. So our tagline is Earth's fruits come full circle. We hope that we're so gentle with our grape growing that 1,000 years from now, 100 years from now, if someone doesn't want to grow grapes on our property, our land could beautifully go back to its natural state because we haven't harmed it in any way. So we're
That's
just very,
awesome.
very stewardship of the land is very important ethic for us.
I think it's a big deal because, well, it's just big for who's drinking the wine. You're helping that, right? But the land,
Yeah,
you know, Nancy and I mean, that's what we do is we travel and we visit parks across the country and wineries as we do it. But you know, you're a neighbor of Chiricahua National Monument and
right.
Fort Bowie, and you're neighbor to other farms and land. And I mean, when Nancy and I came out to the actual winery itself, and everyone, you can do that by appointment, and it's a process, but it's worth it. Um, Going there, I mean, we saw deer and quail and roadrunners and a bear in Chiricahua, you know, National
Yeah,
Monument. And so to me, what you do in agriculture with water and things like that, and how, you know, what is sprayed on, you know, vegetation, right? The vineyard, that kind of thing affects what is going on in your neighbors as well.
right.
It affects the waterways, it affects the birds, it affects all these different things. So when, you know, a winery goes, okay, we're going to, you know, cultivate this land, but we're going to do it with the earth first, you know, and honoring those of the past, the ancestral people. I think that's a special and important thing. And also you're leading by example, leading, the region in that too, and showing people that it can be done. So I really appreciate that a lot, because I know that you're being a friend to your neighbors, whether it's a
Right.
park or another person.
Right.
It's good. It's good.
Thank you for recognizing that, because we're all connected. It's all connected. And
Mhm.
that's why our Earth's Fruits Come Full Circle is so important to us, because we recognize the connection we have to the land, but the connection we have to the wildlife. If little groundhog things drive us nuts because they love to get
The
to the
dippy
roots and
doos.
everything. Yeah, but if we poison them, then we have incredible raptors and owls and everything else that eat those little guys, and then I'm poisoning those important birds that are critical to managing that population. So it's all connected. What we do in the vineyard also will impact the wildlife, will impact the water, will impact the soils, which we need to care about our soils worldwide because they're being
Mhm.
destroyed. And if we don't have the
Mhm.
quality soils, it's going to have incredible impact on us as a species.
Mhm.
That's a whole nother topic, but
Yeah, but it's really cool. I mean, we're in the spirit of Earth Day. I think
yes,
this is an important topic. But going on to jelly beans, because National
right.
Jelly Bean Day.
What a great
Seriously,
transition from Earth Day to jelly beans.
hey, listen, I love a good jelly bean, and the fact they have all these flavors. So April 22nd is Jelly Bean Day. So,
Correct.
um, listen, pairing, yeah, you have to know what jelly beans you're going to, and who doesn't love going to those stores where you get there's the popcorn, buttered
Right.
popcorn
Oh my
flavor. You
gosh.
can get the grapefruit, so you really need to look at the flavor, right, to pair with the wine. But you're having a whole event for this.
We are. We're going to do a tasting where you can taste the jelly bean and help pick out the nuances of the wine by tasting the jelly bean. So we're going to do a pairing, and of course we'll do something fun like guess the number of jelly beans in a jar and for prizes
And
and
win the
things like that.
jar. I want the
And
jar.
that's a good idea. Maybe that's the ultimate prize is you
I
win the
want the
jelly
jar.
bean jar.
Yeah, they used to do that at conferences where they like whatever jelly bean you picked up, whatever color it is, that's your personality type. And I'm like, well,
Ah,
that could be interesting. I don't know. It's like a psychologist do that, and I stay away
uh-huh.
because I
Right.
don't need.
Don't analyze me.
I know. I already know I'm weird. It's okay. That's fine. I've accepted it a long time ago. But no, but it's
Exactly.
cool. But I think this is a really good way to learn about pairings. I mean,
Correct.
through candy. It's really
Correct.
cool.
Plus, it just helps you because, like, when you read a description of a particular wine, like our Grenache, when I talk about it, I say it has ripe strawberry and or a bit of cherry or mulled cherry notes to it.
Mm.
People have a hard time understanding what does that mean because it's so subtle in the wine, but you're picking up those notes. Well, if you taste a cherry jelly bean and you get that on your in your mind and you in your taste buds and then you taste the wine and I say can you pick up that cherry note to it, they can make that connection a little bit easier and
Oh,
hopefully they'll
very cool.
yeah they'll remember that. So the jelly beans are kind of fun to try and you know discern
Yeah.
the different tastes that you have in
I
wine.
love this. So you've got collage, you're celebrating Earth Day, you've got jelly beans and Earth Day happening, you've got collage making, right, which is cool. But then we were talking about Viognier, but I didn't know that there's an actual International Viognier Day. So I think,
Yes.
oh boy, I think you need to go, you know, nudge those
Maybe
wines.
we are gonna do Kurt the winemaker. We'll have a little discussion and tasting special with people that register for that on National Viognier Day. Maybe we'll bring up some samples from the
Yeah.
barrels, the Viognier barrels, and have them taste it when it's not quite ready, so they can taste the difference between like you did. You tasted
Yeah,
it when
it's
it wasn't
fascinating.
quite, yeah, it's not quite ready. And you can tell when we talked about it, what's not quite ready about it. And then you
Mhm.
taste a finished Viognier and see the difference between the transition of how wine evolves as it ages.
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. It truly is. So, in the spirit of International Viognier Day, tell us a little bit about what Viognier is as a wine. Like, where does Viognier come from? Where's the varietals, roots come from?
Right.
Since we're talking
So
about grafting too.
yeah, Viognier is a Rhone varietal, so it's from the Rhone Valley of France, is where it gets its origins, and it's a type of grape. So it like Chardonnay, like Rosson, and other white wine. It's a white grape, and it grows really well in our terroir. And you'll see Viognier grown in New York, I believe, and Pennsylvania. It does, but it tastes very different than our southwestern Viognier grown in our area. And what's fun about this grape is, and it's the only white grape we grow, but we can produce two different styles, at least, well, we have three different styles of Viognier. So when we produce it in stainless steel, with no oak influences, it picks up this like a Sauvignon Blanc, a very steely kind of citrusy notes to it. But then when we put it in our oak barrels and age it in oak, it picks up a little bit of the butteriness, not a heavy butter like a California Chardonnay, oak Chardonnay, but it picks up those nuances of oak, which is really exciting. But you typically get more citrusy, and Viognier can be a very floral in the nose. It has a wonderful aroma to it. So yeah, it's a fun grape.
It is. It's delicious.
And it's
All I can say is
delicious.
it's delicious. And am I right that your barrels come from overseas? Like, you don't get your barrels locally? Like, you?
No, we get them. We use a lot of American oak, and they come from. We use French oak, and
Okay.
for our Grenache primarily, and some of our Viognier might be on French oak, but mostly our Grenache. And what we do is we buy the wood from certain forests in France, and the wood is
Okay.
shipped over, not a whole barrel. So we have the actual barrel made in Missouri at our Cooper, but the French oak
Wow.
gets shipped to Missouri. They make the barrel there to our specifications before we get it
Oh, wow.
out in Arizona. So yeah, we get French oak, we get Missouri oak, Minnesota oak,
Wow.
Pennsylvania oak, from all over. Because every forest, just like grapevines, every forest, the wood or trees grown there the wood will have a different flavor profile
Hmm.
because of their terroir. So a northern oak barrel will be very different than a southern, or a northern oak will be very different than a southern oak. And it
Mm.
imparts different flavors to the wine.
Wow. Okay, we're going to have to do more on this. I feel like I need to go see your cooping person. Your coop, is it a
Cooper,
cooper?
yeah, Cooper, someone
And
that
there's a
makes
last name
barrels.
Cooper, so it's going to be
That's
from that
correct.
heritage. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to go see a Cooper because I've never seen a barrel being, I never even thought of it. Like,
Oh, it's
now I need to go.
fascinating. You need to do
Okay,
that. You need to do
okay.
that.
Well, if it's in Missouri, there's wine out there too.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, they actually made, is it Stone? Oh, I can't stand it that I can't remember it right off the top. Stone
I don't know.
something. It's a winery out there in Missouri. It was on our shows like when we first started years ago.
Okay.
And they have the Norton grape. And what's fascinating, and everyone stay tuned for July. We're doing a wine across America. But and I'll
Yay.
see if I can call them. Yeah, maybe we'll need to go do a detour. We're not far. Um, their Norton grape, what during Prohibition, they literally came out and tore down vineyards, which is
Right.
just it's
Right.
appalling. I
Yeah.
mean, it's appalling what they did to farmers. I
Right.
think I would be standing with a club or something at the front gate going, hell no. But they did. And what happened is their vineyard was actually planted during the Civil War era, American
Wow.
grapes. They managed to keep this one for some reason, for some, I don't know
Wow.
how, but they missed this one part, and that vine is still growing today.
Oh,
Isn't that
I
pretty
love
amazing?
that. That is amazing. Yes.
That's a cool
Yes.
story. So everyone, it's Stone something, Stonehill. Anyway,
Okay.
they're good wine. They're good wine. They're good winemakers. But
Fabulous.
I think whatever you can do, don't ever let prohibition happen
No, no, no,
again.
no,
I
no,
mean, other
never,
things are
never.
getting wonky in the world, but that is one thing we do not want to have
Right.
happen, you know.
Right.
My gosh, all the work that you guys do. So let's get back to happy conversations.
Yeah.
That's a horrible thing to talk about. Okay, you're going back to some more charcuterie. Oh, and everyone, this is an early April. You're doing another
Yes.
charcuterie making class. And so
Well,
I love
yeah.
this. And yeah, so what I will do is everyone in the show notes, I'm going to link to Peggy's tips on charcuterie boards as well, because we're really getting to that season, especially if you're in Arizona, where outdoors, poolside time, that's what you want to do, isn't it? It's just hang
Right.
outside
Oh
and
gosh, yeah. It's a great time to, people want to eat lighter, starting with in here in the spring, I think, or snacking more, instead of having, huge heavy meals. And that's like the recipe that I included and wanted to
mm,
talk about. It's a wonderful salad that I think celebrates a lot of the spring uh, bounty that
mm,
we're starting to get here in Arizona with lemons and oranges and things like that. But it's a Caribbean salad that I make with a honey lime dressing, which is
mm,
just absolutely incredible. And has pineapple and mandarin oranges, dried cranberry, cilantro. And if you don't like cilantro, you don't have to put it in. And the dressing, and I hope people make their own dressing. It's so easy to make dressing. I keep mason jars around, which are perfect to do a dressing in.
mm,
So
shake it.
because
Yeah.
you can shake it up and emulsify everything so easy. So don't make a big deal out of it, but make your own dressing. So this dressing has a little honey, some apple cider vinegar, a little fresh lime. You want to squeeze a fresh lime in there, a little canola oil, diced onion, and then salt and pepper and shake it up. I mean, how simple of a
Ooh,
recipe for a dressing is that?
I love
And
that you put some onion in there too. I love my onion and garlic. I could live on. The salad itself, you also use black beans in there, right? Which is really good
you
for you.
can. Oh
Mhm.
gosh, yeah, drain and canned, so drain your canned bean. You can rinse it if you want to get anything of the salt that they, 'cause sometimes they can
Mhm.
be a bit salty. So yeah, dry it and then toss that in to make it just that. Or if you don't want to do the black beans and you have some rotisserie chicken left over from the night before, toss that in the
Ooh,
chicken. Or if you want to saute up some shrimp and put that in it, that would be awesome in this salad too. So
ooh.
it's versatile and easy, and just I think it's a great celebration of spring.
I
And of
love good salads. Listen, we got to get past this iceberg stuff. I mean,
correct.
I listen. I try to feed raccoons, and they said no to the iceberg. They want Peggy salad. Like they said no. You know, I know you're not supposed to be feeding raccoons in your backyard, but anyway, that's a whole other story. I don't care. But so they said no. Like we
And I
they
I suggest a butter lettuce. Try different lettuces.
ooh,
There's so many different kinds of lettuce. And this is lettuce, which is very delicate and just has a wonderful taste. Of course, that's what I also use for um, um, my Chinese
yeah.
oh,
Those
for
little roll ups, those little spring roll-y
yes,
kind of
yes,
things.
yes, 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 yes. But
Oh,
it's
but
just
oh, it's good.
yeah, yeah. Lettuce wraps is what I was trying to think about.
Oh,
I
there you
use,
go. There's the word. I
yep.
was like spring rolls, but they're not being cooked. But with
No,
the butter lettuce is so cool because it kind of keeps growing in your fridge when you get it in that kind of
right. If you
Tupperware
keep
thing.
it,
So
yeah,
yeah.
if you get it on the root, and just put it in the refrigerator and it it lasts. So I would pair this the salad with a Chardonnay would be
Okay.
nice, or the Viognier like we were talking about, but not one that's heavy oaked. So you want something that is a Chardonnay that has a light oakiness to it. Of course, our 2017 Grenache would be beautiful with
Mhm.
this salad if you wanted to go with a red wine, or choose a rosé. A nice crisp rosé, maybe more medium bodied rosé would be beautiful with this kind of a salad.
Mm.
But
What a perfect dish for Earth Day, because
yes,
even using the black beans, it's like, okay, watching our meat footprint, that
yeah,
kind of thing. So it's, for one day, we don't have to eat meat every single day. That's what I love about the reducitarian lifestyle is instead of eating meat every day, take 1 or 2 days where you don't. And it helps
correct.
the earth and it helps our bodies. And so I think in this, you can put the chicken or the shrimp, but I'm just saying for Earth Day, it would be cool to just do that.
And you don't have to cook anything. You don't have to turn on the stove. You don't have
Like
to,
that.
it's something you can put together while you're sitting on the patio at the patio table.
And
Just
have wine while you're doing it.
of course you got to have the
Yes.
wine with it. It's perfect
Well, and
pairing.
also Mother's Day is coming up. So I know it isn't it, weren't we just in snow and ice? Like, how did this
I
happen?
know. I know.
Mother's Day
Yep.
coming up. This is, something you can do that shows you didn't just grab a bag of salad and put it in a bowl. So
Correct. Correct. You don't need to
anyone
do
can
that.
do this. All ages can do this. Yeah,
Yes,
I can do it.
exactly. You can do this.
I can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So I think that is a fantastic thing. The other thing I was going to say with Mother's Day coming up, I know that you do a lot of women's, gatherings and events, and I would just say a mother-daughter, wine tasting experience has got to be, and you could bring the boys in too, I suppose. But you know what I mean? It's kind of a nice
Oh
way to have the women of the family, all generations, aunts, grandmas, bring them all together for a little wine tasting where it's something of an experience instead of, well, did you know so and so did this in the family? Let's not do that on Mother's Day. Let's celebrate joy. And
right.
so I would say wine is a good start.
Right, exactly. Or, cook together. Everyone,
Yeah.
don't just bring a dish, cook something together. There's something
Oh,
about making things together. Builds community, builds relationships. You open up a little bit more. So yeah, I've just put together a pretty stocked calendar of events through the year, and it's not just about, oh my gosh, how do we get people into the tasting room?
sure.
We're all about creating community and being a place where people come and relax and be able to share information and meet new friends. It's amazing
Mhm.
how many of our wine club members love to come to events because they've connected with other wine club members, and it's a great way to see and have friendships grow.
Yeah. Now, the list of events is up on your website for everyone, right? So if everyone goes to
Almost. Yep.
ldvwinery.com, yeah.
Yes.
And so go there and check that out and keep up, get the newsletter. I love your newsletters. I mean, you
Thank
guys
you.
always have a lot recipes, what's going on in the vineyard, all of that. So when you're on the website, go sign up for that. And of course, social media is great. But I think you're really right about the community part because I think Europe really is teaching us too to sit down, break bread. Dinner
Yes.
is not just throw it down and go. It is like, let's sit down, have a conversation, doing something, an activity like the collages, like it gives, you're learning something, but in a very fun
Correct.
environment. And
Correct.
that's what wine tasting and eating together is about. It's about slowing down, and it is stress awareness month again. So this is another way to reduce some stress. I mean, if you're getting frustrated at work, go paint and collage and drink wine, meet new people, and somehow you'll realize what you're stressing over may not actually be the end of the world.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's
Spend
not.
Yep, spend an hour out if you're doing something totally different than your normal daily activity. and it does
Mhm.
wonders for your psyche.
Wow, this is cool. I love all these events. There's a lot. You're busy. You guys are
We're,
busy at the
we're
winery,
busy.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I'm looking at
busy.
May. You've got paint and sip wine Wednesdays. You've got Mother's Day, where you're doing
Yeah,
rosé, and then you have a library wine tasting and nibbles.
yeah.
Oh, National Wine Day is May 25th. Everybody stop. Not stop drinking wine, but oh my gosh, is that a big day for you guys? I bet, huh?
Uh-huh.
Over at the
Yes,
winery.
exactly. Yep.
I love that.
So
There's a Go ahead.
we have fun. It's the key is having fun, you know.
I love
Yeah, it's a
that.
lot of hard work, but we have fun and we are making friends and it's,
That's
makes you
awesome.
happy. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Peggy. We can't wait for next month. It'll be right before Mother's Day, so we can talk a little bit more about that too. And of course, get what's going on in the vineyard, find out what's happening, and get our next term of the month, the wine term of the month. I think we're gonna have to make a crossword with all these terms you've given us over the last few years.
Good,
We'll have, I
good
love that.
idea. I like
We'll
that.
do
I like
that.
it.
We'll do that for winter. That's a
Yes.
winter project. I love it. Thanks
Fabulous.
so much.
All
Thanks,
righty.
Peggy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio's Wine Time with Peggy show. Keep up with LDV Winery at ldvwinery.com. Keep up with Big Blend Radio at bigblendradio.com.